1.
Welcome back, motherfuckers.
So harsh. Motherfucker.
Motherfucker. We should just start talking in our accents. I want to hear your Creole accent.
See, when you do that, my brain just shuts off.
I'm not gonna lie, mine says too. Like, how do I talk to a kid right now?
Like when people say speak Creole, I'm like, my brain going.
Nigga said, absolutely the fuck not, bitch.
My brain's like, if you don't leave me the hell alone, I will come out when I need to.
Right.
But it's crazy how like if I'm angry and I'm speaking English, bits and pieces of my accent come out, or bits and pieces of Haitian Creole words come out. I'm like, wait a minute, this person's not even Haitian.
Right. You know how many times I've tried to cuss out some of my coworkers in Creole? I was like, oh girl, relax. I don't know what you're saying.
Because listen, if we went on a tangent in our native tongue, girl, be upset. We would have fired. Because I feel like when we cuss people out in our native tongue, it's way harsher than the curse words that you guys be hearing here in English.
No holds barred.
None.
So what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about double standards.
Double standards.
Oh, here comes all the niggas saying, watching like, oh, what these girls about to talk about double standards. Here they go. One equal.
We're here to, what is it? Mansplain? I don't even know. What do we say?
Maybe mansplain? I don't know.
No.
Some men don't get it. They ain't gonna listen to us.
I don't know.
Stubborn asses.
But it's very interesting. This topic is very interesting only because y'all have no idea how many times we've attempted to record this episode.
The devil is a liar trying to prevent us from recording it.
I don't know what the problem is.
I was gonna say something inappropriate, but I'm not gonna say it.
No, say it.
No.
Why? Say it.
I was gonna say probably it's. I don't think you want me to say it.
Just say
I was
it.
gonna say it's Kevin Samuel's spirit fucking with us. See? This is what happens when y'all let Peggy speak. My mouth is restless.
He's like, stop these bitches from talking, please.
Sorry, let me not.
I must send this to my friend who always sending me something about Kevin Samuels. He's like, he's the president. He's the president of the Kevin Samuels fan club. So, rest in peace, though.
Yes. No, I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but Anyway. Yes. So the topic is double standards. Me and Jessica was struggling since season 2 trying to get this episode recorded and get it on air, but here we are. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna do what it do.
We're gonna do what it do with this.
Of course, certain topics certain topics we bring up, we like to look up the definitions, right?
Yeah, because
we don't be knowing. Sometimes we don't want to just keep talking out our ass. So the definition for a double standard is a rule or principle which is unfairly applied in different ways to different people or groups.
Yep.
So we know it's typical to like, if Jessica was a male, there's certain things that apply to her, but if I was to do it, I get labeled something else. We already know. So double standards is pretty much, it's unfair. In the year of our Lord of 2022, we should know better with certain things, right? There's certain things that don't have to have gender roles at all, or it shouldn't be like, oh, well, this group can do it and the other group can't. If you're able to do something, then do it. If not, I don't think I should be beat down for it because you did it too and no one blinked an eye, no one batted an eye, but I do it. It's like, oh no, you should not be doing that. That is uncalled for. How dare you do that? You shouldn't be doing that.
God forbid.
God forbid you do something like that.
Right.
So, wanted to start off with, we already gave the definitions of what are double standards, the definition of it, but what's been your experience with double standards?
I think the double standard for me is what's something that I practice or had backlash on. I think me being a little more, I'm definitely not fully there, a little more sexually liberated in the sense where I talk about it. I'm not like no holds barred, like I'm not shy about it. But I do know that the more I push the envelope with that, the more backlash I get. So I do hold back a little bit, but not as much as most people. I'm not shy to have the conversation, and I'm not shy to say what I want. Most women are supposed to be bashful and like, that's not ladylike. I'm not her. So I definitely get, like, oh, you're kind of like, oh, and I swear a lot, which is not ladylike as well. Like, guys can swear up a storm, and then a woman swears, and it's just like, very tasteless, very not ladylike, which is like, fuck you.
Mouth.
Listen, the day I started saying the C word, cunt, I lost.
Yeah, just gonna be off the road. You fucking cunt. Like, what?
Yeah. She's such a cunt. She's cunty. There'll be a lot of swearing in this episode for sure. But yeah, that's one of the things that I know that about myself, but I know it's not accepted. And I have some reservations about even being fully in that space because I don't know if I can handle the full backlash. I'm a handsy person. Y'all know I like to punch people.
She punched niggas. I can forget. Every episode it gets brought up. She punches niggas.
Yeah.
Okay, my experience with double standard, I'll give two. One experience was when I was younger. I never liked this idea, and that's why as an adult, granted I don't have children, I feel like all children need to be protected. So the double standard I got growing up is, you can't leave your little girls, your daughters everywhere, or my brothers were staying out late. So when I started became that, oh no, you can't be staying out. I'm like, well, they did it. Oh no, young women, da da da. But as I got older and realized little boys were getting kidnapped too. Little boys were getting raped too. So all children, you cannot leave any children with just anybody, even your own family members. You can't trust them because some of them get a little handsy. So I feel as though like I grew up in an era where it's like the daughters were getting extra protected, but I'm like, the sons need to get protected because they were getting molested too. Some of them were having early sexual experiences that they should not have with babysitters. Like, there are women pedophiles out here too. The one that I got as I was older was the whole concept, which is still spoken about today, was, oh, if a woman got so many such and such bodies, she's a hoe. I'm like, so what are you? Yeah. And some of y'all niggas I don't get it. Like, the concept of sowing your seeds everywhere you go. But who are you, in fact, sleeping with, right? To sow your seeds.
So, there was a conversation that I was listening to yesterday. It was like a Facebook, Instagram Live. And a guy, I'm going to try to explain it because I'm still trying to find the words. I know what I want to relate to you. I just don't know how to say it in a way that you can understand. That's the way the Virgo brain works, right? So he said, there's something to be said about a woman who can only produce one child. They release one egg and they're off the market for 9 months. But a man can ejaculate and release thousands of sperm. So that he thinks that theory is evidence that men are not to be monogamous, that they are to lay their eggs, lay their sperm with whoever, whatever. Now, if that is true, why is it you release that much sperm, but with only one sexual insertion, right? Like, you can't hold back the sperm, like, all right, we give 10 to you, we give 10 to you. Like, it doesn't work like that. Yes, you're releasing thousands of sperm, but you can only physically do that and put it in someone one at a time. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm really trying, like,
His logic didn't make sense, so like, that's why I kind of muted. My brain went, phew.
Yeah, and I was just like, I understand that men are trying, I think it's more prevalent now that men are trying to push this polygamy idea on women. Some women are religious in a way where monogamy was pushed on them, and so that's the lifestyle they want for themselves, and that's totally okay. But I think the ones that get it. Like, when they understand what it requires of them to be in a polygamous relationship, get it, cool, do what you gotta do. Find a woman that will agree to that. But the ones that do it because they have a hidden agenda when it comes to sex, you're not ready for that. You don't have the stamina. You don't have the bank account. You don't even have the maturity level to handle. You bitch about your girl having the attitude 1 week out of the month. Now you got 4 of them. What are you about to do?
Girl. Chaos.
this whole polygamy shit is beyond me. But if a woman says, hey, I want to be the head of the household and I want a few men, how do you think that's going to play out?
Certain cultures, there are women who are the ones that have multiple husbands, and that's great for them. Me personally, I don't subscribe to that, but I'm not knocking anyone who tries it. As long as if you can defend it and it makes logical sense, then I guess. Like you said, when people only want to defend it in the sense that you have no funds to support any of these men or women, and you just want to have sex and all the women willfully agree, that's your mindset, then you just
You're not ready for that.
You just want to have an open season just to cheat without getting caught up or getting yelled at or getting cussed out. That's all.
But you could do that single and just date who you date. And
exactly, and be honest about it at the end of the day. Like no one's telling you have to be in a relationship. And guess what? I always tell people this. If you tell this girl that you are not looking for a relationship and this is what it is and she wants to get mad, let her be mad by herself because you already told her what it was. Now, when you drag people along and give them boyfriend vibes, when you never made it clear that that's not what you want and you gave them relationship vibes and you were treating them as though you guys are together, then this is where things get very... like, you're crossing the line here, and when she fucks your shit up, you can't get mad.
Right.
And we know people like to say, keep your hands to yourself, all this, that. But when you lie to people... like, you can't keep lying to people and think, like, there's no consequence to that. Right. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you can't just run people ragged and then think, oh, you're going to live the rest of your life karma-free. I'm sorry.
No.
But,
getting that ass.
And when you said how, like, a woman can only be pregnant and she's down for, like, pretty much the whole year. Yeah. So, and that's why when you think of the whole concept of men trying to control women's bodies in the sense of when to have children and if they want to have children, I'm like, how about you... go get on birth control? I'm talking about the men. How about you go get a vasectomy? You're not losing your balls. You're not getting your balls cut off. It's one of the easiest procedures, and it's reversible. It's more traumatizing for women to tie tubes and do all that. It's not really reversible, and it can reverse on its own.
And the reverse effects is like they become, they have lack of, what's that word? When you're not sexually, you don't have the sexual drive. They lose. No, it's a word.
The testosterone?
No.
I don't know.
It's the women, girl. If you have testosterone, you're a woman.
No, we have a little bit.
Yes, but that's not... it's not stamina. I hate it here. Why does my brain work like this? Wow. No, but it's just not...
okay, you got me playing Hangman. I don't know.
Oh my God. I hate it here.
It'll come back to you later.
Okay.
But
what's your thought?
That is actually easier to do than a woman. Most women, they do suggest if we want to tie our tubes, it's better to do it right
libido.
It's better to do it right when you give birth. So if I was to give birth today, they would say, okay, we're going to bring you in to tie your tubes because you might as well just deal with bang out both of those pains, giving birth and tying your tubes, and to come back later to do it. But with a woman, like you said, you're down for pretty much the whole year. And then after you give birth, you still need like about a month or two to actually heal down there. Mm-hmm. Or if you have a C-section, you need more time down there. A man can still produce and have children until the day he dies. Now, granted, they say the sperm may not be as viable as it is when you're in your 90s, but knowing that a 95-year-old man can still have a kid makes me kind of gag a little bit because it's like, ugh. And so, but yet... time and time again, society wants to control women's bodies and when and where to have children, but y'all don't give a fuck about the ones that are already alive. That's what bothers me. You're concerned about the little egg that's floating around supposedly in my uterus, but not the one that's actually living and breathing, especially in our foster care system. Oh, fuck. Get the fuck out of here with that, honestly, because it's like millions of kids in foster care, and when they get put into these foster care homes, some of them don't give a fuck about that, but y'all concerned about what the fuck women are doing with their bodies. And some of y'all out here having children all over the place and thinking it's cute, but yet let a woman have a kid or choose not to have one is a problem. Like, oh, how dare you, and you're killing them. I'm like, there's ones here that are living and breathing. Why don't you provide them support and financial assistance to help them continue to grow? How about that? But that's the other thing I hated. Like, you know, parents do add on the double standards onto that too. I mean, granted, I've seen a lot on social media where a lot of parents are not conforming to the double standard thing. Like, they are trying to protect both of their children, no matter if it's male or female or whatever. They're protecting all their children, not saying, oh, I'm gonna protect my daughter more over, and that's another thing I grew up hearing. I still see some men still do that, like, oh, when they get a daughter, oh, you're gonna purchase a shotgun. Why can't you purchase a shotgun for your son too? Your sons need protection too. Yeah. The fact that your son can be off,
they're going to teach their sons how to protect themselves, but they're going to be the protectors for their daughter instead of teaching their daughters how to protect themselves as well.
Exactly. You got
while protecting them.
Yeah, you got to show your daughters how to protect themselves too.
You can't always be there.
You won't always be there, and that's the thing, because there's going to be a time period where, one, you probably won't be no longer on earth, or two, you're not going to be around all the time to watch and make sure she's good. No, your child will eventually become an adult, and they're gonna have to do things on their own without you. So if you give them tools when they're younger and guide them while they're growing, that'll be the best thing you ever gave your children.
Right.
The next question: do you think society plays a role in double standards? Hell yeah.
That's where it's rooted from.
Hell yeah. On top of society, religion plays a role too.
Oh. Girl.
Not knocking anybody's religion. I grew up Christian.
I didn't want to bring it there, but since you brought it there,
I have to. Go. So, like I said, I am Christian. I grew up Christian or whatever. I still believe in it, but growing up, getting older, understanding and finding myself more, I do realize like it does play a role in how we move out of society, especially in the black community. It does play a role. I might ruffle some people's feathers. If my mother was to ever catch wind of this, she probably might beat the hell out of me for it. But it's true, because it's like, I go to church and you hear where they're always bringing up how women should be to be better wives and to find that husband. What are y'all doing to teach men to be better husbands, to be better individuals, to be a great husband to a woman? You have magazines dedicated to what women can do to keep a man. That nigga don't want to be kept. I'm not doing all that.
He's not a keeper.
If he wanted to be kept, he would have done all the things that I'm doing and reciprocating that for us to be both equally yoked individuals. Why I gotta do all the work? You know what I mean? And growing up, I used to think like, when I got cheated on, like, oh my God, where did I go wrong? Maybe I gotta do this to be better. And not realizing that person, them cheating, had nothing to do with me. It had to do everything with them. Yeah. Like, instead of them communicating with me, like, this is how I feel, da-da-da, he wasn't doing that. He went along, did his thing, and then realized later when I no longer wanted to be with him, that's when they realized, oh my God, you were the best thing that I ever had. Yeah, but you didn't appreciate when you had me. So me stressing myself, thinking that I had to conform and change myself for this person, for them to love me and be with me, they still wasn't changing. Right. So why in this society we always want women to conform, to do these things, to apply to men, but men ain't doing shit to change. And like I said, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. I don't know why y'all getting y'all feelings to things do not apply to y'all. Not all men are trash, of course, but the ones that we've seen on social media, the ones that we've seen or experienced through lives between me and Jessica, those are the ones we're talking about. So if you know you're a good man, you do what you gotta do, and yeah, you may have had your fuck ups growing up, but you realize now as an older adult, like, yo, I did fuck up. I did my fucked up shit in my 20s or whatever. I know better now. I'm gonna do better. If it doesn't apply to you now in your behaviors and how you maneuver in life, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I agree with the religion and society. I feel like that's where it's been rooted from. I feel like it started with religion, and then society kept perpetuating all the double standards to confine women in what they're allowed to do. As we all know, it was forever and still sort of is a male-dominated world.
Yes.
There's been plenty of change, but there's so much more change to come. And until then, we're going to continue to fight for our rights. We're going to continue to fight to be in spaces that were never granted to us. That we're going to continue to fight for equality and all this other stuff. But I think it had a lot to do with religion. I have my own personal thoughts on religion, but I'm going to shut the fuck up because it's not the podcast for that. And then, of course, society. Men took the religion, spinned it to make it work for them, and applied it and kind of like put us in a box. Like, this is what you're allowed to do, and if you don't do these things and you're trying to step out of this box, I'm gonna shame you so bad that you're just gonna want to go back in that box and just fuck it. There's the trailblazers like RGB, who was like, fuck that box, fuck your box, and fuck everything that you have going for yourself. I'm going to make sure that the women that I'm working so hard for are going to experience these spaces, are going to experience these rights, to do what they please. Because I feel like half of the stuff that y'all wouldn't have if the woman stayed confined in that box. It's the trailblazers. It's the ones that, you know, ruffled feathers. It's the one that said "fuck your box." That got
the ones that weren't quiet, you know.
Yeah, the ones that took the beating, took the shame, took all of the shit that comes with being a rebellious individual, a rebellious woman. Mm-hmm. That got us to this place. So
I like that you brought that up because of you know, you bring up, and it makes me, you know, what crossed my mind, like for the men that think women are supposed to be in these boxes, it's like, so that's
it's to make them feel good. It's all to stroke their ego.
Stroke their ego, but I'd be like, fuck your ego.
But in my head, I'm like, why are you so adamant on having women stay in this idea of how they should be, where they should be?
Power.
Yes, because they obviously know if we were to follow our true, like if we were to fall into our true identity, our purpose, we would probably overshadow them.
I want to think overshadowing. I think it would be that
we would be competing, or
I don't even think it, like, honestly, I don't feel like I need to compete with a man. Like, you do your thing, I do mine. Period. But at the end of the day, I think it's more so at the end of the day, nothing else trumps it. It's literally power. For centuries, since the dawn of fucking time, man has been led to believe it's their world and they're supposed to run it. But
we just fall in line.
And we're supposed to just fall in line. Our purpose is to bear all these fucking children. And God forbid we don't bear any males. And thank God for science, we figured it out. It's a male that needs to produce the chromosome to give us a male. Because women only produce X chromosomes. So I can only give you girls. You got to give me that Y.
Yeah.
Okay? So, but that was only our job. Only speak unless spoken to. Yeah. So that's the same way we treat our children, the same way.
Turn the other cheek.
Turn the other cheek. It don't matter if he has multiple women. And God forbid, even if he was to bring another child into the picture out of wedlock, you take in that child as well. There's a lot of abuse that women have taken, our grandmothers, great-grandmothers have taken because of society's norms. And religion played a role in it. Because within Catholic religion, like within that itself, it was frowned upon to even ask for a divorce. You better take whatever it is that you're dealing with. For better or worse, till death do you part. And some men took it to the head. Like, you're not leaving, and the only way you're leaving is through death.
Yep.
And that's it.
In the most literal sense.
Literal sense. So, that's why even now, I notice when I go to weddings, you know, the vows, the old vows I used to hear growing up was to honor and obey. And that was only the woman's line that has to be repeated. They don't say that no more. Like, I'm not obeying you. You're not my parent. I'm not your child. Yeah. So
I'm not your possession.
Because the man never had to say to honor and obey his wife. It was never said. I noticed growing up that was not the thing. The woman would say honor and obey. It doesn't go that way. Yeah. So the thing is, it's like a lot of the things that have been so great for us in society is because of women. And the thing that kills me is the way men disrespect women. They're like, yo, we create life. You can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
You can't fucking create life. No. So for you to be disrespecting a woman...
To push it a little further, some men are going to say, well, you need the sperm to create life. We can do artificial insemination. What could you do? You can't carry a baby.
For 9 months at that and deal with all the changes, Lord.
You physically cannot do that. But we could just go, we don't really physically need you. And I don't want this to be like a man-shaming thing because I love men. I love our black men. And I want us to just all be in the same page, be cohesive. But I also feel there's something beautiful to be said about having difference of opinions and having these conversations and having different outlooks, because it's something that I was probably stuck hell-bent on as far as an idea of how things should be. And then someone presents me a different idea that I never thought of.
It's not to tear... Like, I like the fact that you said, especially the black men. Yeah. I get when some people say, like, oh, within the black community, black men and black women are always tearing each other down. I do see that a lot, too. But I feel like within the black community, there's nothing wrong with us sitting down and saying, look, this is where we fucked up. Yep. We know what landed us here. You know, the white man comes in, their job is to divide and conquer, and that's what they've been doing for centuries, and it's definitely clearly worked. Because look at the black community. You know, they come in, swoop in. The black family unit used to be like this. Now, there's some things that are to be said. Even if we were tight-knit and family stayed together and the government came in like, oh, in order for you to get housing and food stamps, you can't claim the guy on your, pretty much your lease. So women were pretty much saying, oh, it's just me and my kid, just me and my kid. You know, that plays a role with the dismantling of the family, the black family unit. And I understand that. But we know how this country is. We know how it maneuvers. Let's get past that, because we do understand that this country will always be fucked up towards black people. So there's no need to be surprised or shocked. But if we can come together, what this country don't like to see, and what white people, the crazy white racist people don't like to see, is black people coming together, because they always see us as a threat, especially a black man. They always see them as threats. No, regardless if they're good, bad, thugs, whatever. They always will view us as threats. So let them continue to view us as threats, but let's come together. Right?
My purpose in life is not to change their mind. My purpose in life is to build community with the people that are me, that
look like me. Because at the end of the day, white people can talk all the shit they want. They'll still stick together. Now, there's a few that will not fuck with the crazy, super racist, extremist white people, yes. But we are always tearing each other down.
Tomas, that be...
What?
I was trying to, instead of saying Uncle Tom, I was trying to say it in Spanish.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know that.
Tío Tomas.
Oh.
Those motherfuckers.
Yes. My thing is, we want, like me and Jeff was trying to say is, yes, we want to fight for our black man. We love y'all. But at the same time, if I love someone, you still gotta hold that person accountable. And yes, for black men, if you feel like women are doing fucked up shit, you can hold us accountable. There's some people that will never change, and we're just gonna have to accept that. Some people who are stuck in their ways, like literally gung-ho stuck, they won't change for nothing. That's perfectly fine. Those are people who are like, all right, I did the best that I could. God bless your soul. We're gonna move on to the next, right? You know, and maybe later on in life they'll get it. Hopefully it's not too late. Yeah. But my thing is, for me, when it comes to black men, it's like you're already being oppressed by white society already. Then you come and oppress black women, like how? And we're always fighting for you. Yeah. Like, always fighting for you, and then you turn around and disrespect us by, you know, saying crazy shit like, you're too dark, you're too loud, and all this other shit. Everybody's loud. Everyone in every of their cultures is fucking loud. White people get loud too. So, my thing is with the double standards, what kills me is like, there was this clip I saw, I wish I saved it and sent it to you. This man, the woman said, okay, what are you looking for? He goes, I'm looking for a woman who's not promiscuous. But he said it wrong. She's like, what did you just say? So he says it again. And then she's like, okay, what else are you looking for? Oh, I'm looking for a woman to be submissive. She's like, okay, explain that to me. What does submissive look like to you? Oh, you know, she does her hair, she does her nails. She's like, oh, that's just being feminine. Like, any woman who's into that can do that. What are you looking at? What else? Okay, someone to, like, you know, for her to lead, da-da-da. She's like, well, that's not being submissive. He's like, no, who's willing to be led. Okay, so how do you want that? So she can't make more money than me. And I forgot what else he said. Once he said that, I was like, all right, this is done. I just can't. Like, that has to do with your ego. For those of you who have an issue with a woman making more money than you, how about you step your motherfucking game up? Like, you know what? I want her, but, like...
At this time,
I can't afford her. And I think we brought it up a few episodes ago. Like I said, if a woman is not in your fucking caliber, find one that is. Do not go and overarch yourself and overreach to get the woman that is not even in your league, and then you try to bring her down to come down to your level because you feel a type of way because you only make 40K.
And then use her shoulders to get up. Like,
exactly.
Sorry, no,
nothing is more hurtful when, especially for black women, when we hold our men down and they make it to a certain level and they leave. Like Kanye said. You don't leave your ass for a while.
I mean, but that's the thing. Currently, she's on his level. What if he elevates that and for himself, and that's no longer somebody he wants to be with? What do you do then?
I don't know.
We gotta accept the fact that things are not forever.
And
we gotta be okay with, all right, this was an experience. I had it. I enjoyed it. It was worth it. I learned a lot from it. Now it's time to move on. Mm-hmm. It's easier said than done because clearly I'm still stuck on stupid with somebody else. So you know. But I will say, from what you said about like dating in your caliber, once that person is elevated to his purpose in life, and that person is no longer on his caliber, like what do you expect them to do?
Well, here's the thing. It's like, okay, here's the way I'm gonna look at it. If I realize I'm reaching certain goals and maybe my significant other starts to become complacent, you can have conversations and not belittle them. Because if you start belittling the person, you might shut them out completely and they don't feel like, what's the point? But if you have conversation to help them and motivate them, and I think Wes brought it up, like his wife was motivating him to go get his master's. He said, well, why won't you? She's like, all right, cool. She's like, I bet. And she got her master's too. So that motivated him to do that. Yeah. So if we have to also respect that certain people may have reached something they feel that they might not reach.
This piece before you do?
Yeah.
If you guys have not watched the episode with Wes, he dropped so much fucking gems on that damn episode. So go back and watch. Because we've been referencing Wes in like the past few episodes. So.
Yes, definitely do that. And so we also have to respect that certain people do get complacent, but certain people may reach a certain goal in their mind. They're like, I'm good. Like right now, I feel in my heart like, yo, I'm good with schooling. Like I don't want to go get another degree. My master's is enough for me. But I'm still learning other stuff throughout my lifetime, like doing research and looking up stuff online and having awesome, mature conversations with people that think like me, or even if they don't think like me, but we can help each other out. I still can learn that way. Now, if I don't know, maybe another 5-10 years down, I'm like, I feel like I might go back to school, but I am content where I'm at. Because there's a difference between complacency and content. Like you can be content where you're at and still pushing and striving to do better, but you're not overexerting yourself. And then there's some people who become complacent. It's like you're complaining about shit, but what are you doing for that? So that's where I feel like, as that person's partner, if you start giving them ideas to help them out, but they're shutting it down, they don't care, they don't want to listen to it, or they start feeling like, oh, you think you better than them because you went on and did this, then maybe it's probably the relationship has run its course. The person doesn't want to listen to you no more. They feel like you're trying to belittle them when you're really not. You're really trying to be their partner and their friend and tell them like, I see this for you. Let's try it out together. I'll help you. Let's do it together. Like you're helping your significant other, and they don't see it that way, and they take it turn for the worst. Then maybe it's time to cut it as a loss. But I feel like if you are not doing that, and because you reach a new level and you're like, oh nope, she's beneath me, or nope, he's beneath me, and you just up and leave that person without even trying, I think that's the part where I think it's kind of fucked up if you do that.
I wrote down some double standards that I want to read off to you.
Yes.
And you let me know if you think it's still significant in society, or if it's something that was in the past.
Yes.
So I know we mentioned it earlier, but body count. So men can have an absurd amount of body counts, sexual partners, and be considered like the man, or like, like someone to look up to. Like I know when I talk about how my grandfather has really young children in his 80s, people think it's like something to be proud of, and it's actually disgusting. But if a woman was in her 80s still producing babies, y'all would think this is absurd, disgusting. Why is she still having kids? Or, for instance, somebody who enjoys sex, is having safe sex, having conversations with partners, but she has more body count than most men or most women. She's considered promiscuous, disgusting, a hoe, a slut. And men will argue like, oh, what do they call it? Like, they're territorial. And so a woman who has been touched multiple times by different people, it's kind of losing their value or whatever. But I just think it's more of an ego thing. You want to feel like, I have this girl, she's never been touched, or she doesn't have a lot of body count, and like it's like a prize. Like,
what,
I'm not a prize.
They think women's only supposed to be touched by angels or something? The fuck?
I mean, I am.
Anyways, yes, I think some men in this world, some men don't, but I think some men in this world still think that way. First of all, if you start off any dates asking a woman how many people she slept with, fuck please. Off, and I'll ask for the check, pay for my portion of the bill,
I'll just disrespectfully pay for your meal and go.
And leave.
Because the bitch you are, I'm going to need to pay for your check too.
Like, it's none of your business, and it's none of
my
business.
It's irrelevant as fuck, it's before you.
Anything that happens before you shouldn't matter. Like, I know there's the line where some people say, damn, I might have slept with this guy's friend, but I didn't know you. however you want to take that information, that's your business. But at the end of the day, if my sexual health is in pristine shape and you ain't gotta worry about no STI, STDs or anything that's gonna be crossed between us if we get to that point in the relationship, that's all that should matter to you, and that's what's gonna matter to me, making sure your health, your sex health is in pristine shape as well. Why does it matter who I slept with? And if I slept with anybody, it's none of your damn business. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't have anything that I'm gonna share with you sexually in that sense of when it comes to diseases, then it shouldn't matter. Like, agreed. Why? That's something I used to hear, like 15, 16 stupid ass little immature boys would ask that. In this big old age, you better not be fucking asking a grown ass woman her body count, and that's corny. That's stupid.
The next double standard that I found that I thought was hilarious. Body image. Men can have dad bods and still be considered sexy, but a woman who just had a baby or someone who's just bigger due to health issues or whatever is considered disgusting. I mean, I like my boys big, but
my thing is, as a man, and I feel like I forgot where I saw it. They said with men, it's like they don't have much to go with. Like with women, okay, if we're losing our hair, we can slap a wig on. Throw a little bit of makeup, lashes. Men, they just come as is. And then you just literally just be like, yeah, no, it's a hard no for me. Yeah. But for me, I've seen instances where men, and I think also when women, y'all ain't slick. Y'all ain't low. Y'all be trying to shame women in the aspect of, like, you know, stretch marks and stuff like that. First of all, if you ever fucking learn in school anatomy and physiology, your skin stretches to accommodate your body. So when you are going through your puberty stage, your growth spurt, and your body starts to stretch, your skin stretches to accommodate. Sometimes if you're growing too fast, your skin starts to stretch. In some instances, you get the stretch marks. Some people are lucky they don't get stretch marks. Yeah. So your body is trying to accommodate whatever's going on. I remember one time when I started to gain some weight, and I noticed I was starting to get these dark stretch marks in the lower part of my back. And sometimes they would get itchy. And I was like, oh my God, like how I get these? But I was gaining weight because, you know, eating a lot, and I was on campus, so eating late, staying up late, staying at the computer desk, doing homework late, staying up studying. And I realized, and then, you know, okay, I didn't like it for me because it was irritating me. So I started to work out, change my diet a bit, and it honestly went away. But I naturally have stretch marks that stretch from my upper thigh area to my hips because obviously that's where my body spreads out the most. So for men to make women feel a type of way about something so natural as having a baby, which is one of the most riskiest things to ever fucking do, because you can die while being pregnant, you can die while giving birth or after birth, or your child, you can lose your child. So for women to give up their bodies for 9 months and push out your big ass head and fucking baby.
They have the space and grace to take their time, get it back to whatever size they
in society, talking about, the snapback. I already know now I'm not going to have a snapback, so you're going to get whatever fucking body you're going to get
whatever
after I push
version
out that baby.
post-baby gives you.
Whatever this body gives you after I push out that baby, that's what you're going to get. I carried a human and pushed it out. Yeah. So what about your mothers? Especially y'all black men and women. What about your moms that have stretch marks?
Or your moms who never lost a baby weight, a whole 30-year-old.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why, you know, one thing I haven't heard in a while, when people talk shit, you be like, your mother. Like, what about y'all moms? What about your mothers? Y'all so quick to talk shit about women, but failing to realize you came from one. Yeah. What, you came from? A whale or something? A dog? A cat?
Might as well.
A goat? Like, let me know.
Might as well.
Like, let me know if you came from a different animal. Please let me know. Because if it's a goat, please tell me. Because you came from a fucking human fucking woman.
Yep.
And for y'all to sit here and disrespect women, it's really, like, preposterous to me. Right. And I don't use that word a lot. It's fucking preposterous.
The next double standard that I found, that I thought, I'm definitely a perpetuator of this, so God, please forgive me. Expectations on first date. Yep, men pay on the first date.
Nigga, you asked me out, you paying, though.
Okay, what if you asked him out?
Oh, of course I'm paying.
I don't know how I feel about that anymore. I did say that at one point in my life, and I don't know if I.
No, that hasn't changed for me. No. I mean, whatever.
No, but you said that in the context of this is my significant other now, not first date.
Oh, first date still, because okay, my expectation is first date a man is supposed to pay, but if we're getting to know each other and I do the first move and say, oh, let's go out or whatever, I don't think it's fair for me to expect him to pay. I didn't tell him to get out of his comfort zone. Now, if he initiates it, of course I'm expecting him to pay. You know what I mean? So it's like, and too, society still plays a big role in this. Prime example, me and Wilson go out. I took him out for his birthday, right? And obviously I'm taking him out, so I'm paying for it, right? So we go to Cheesecake and we just order a bunch of appetizers.
Not taking him to cheesecake.
No, because he wanted it to be low key this year, and I was like, all right, fine. So we went to a winery earlier that
this
day.
one, I'm gonna clip it.
Do not bring my ass to Chili's. I don't care if you call me bougie. Chili's, Applebee's, don't take me there. On that scale, Capital Grille, Maestros, Eddie V's,
Mastros.
For first dates, and he took me to Mastros for first date. And Del Frisco's.
Listen, don't let her do you like that again.
So went to a winery spot.
You might as well went to Olive Garden. I'm gonna keep.
Went to a winery spot because I know he's into bourbon and whiskey, and they have a distillery.
We made up for the cheesecake. Got it.
So took him there first. Whatever, had a grand old time. But we wanted to get some drinks, and one of our special go-to spots is Cheesecake Factory, and he wanted to go there. So I was like, all right, cool. Funny thing is, the guy, when he placed the check down, he put it towards Wilson. So I slide it over, put my payment down, and whatever. Dude goes swipe my card and returns the receipt for me to sign. But when he returns it, he puts it on Wilson's side. And it's like crazy society.
Like, you swipe my card, it clearly says Peggy. What are we doing?
I don't think he even looked at the name. He just brought it back. And it's like, at restaurants, society does play that role. Unless it's a restaurant full of, like, when you're sitting at a table and there's a bunch of women, they leave it, like, folded like this, and they know, okay, between all of them, then someone's going to pay. Even with men, they put it in the middle, and then someone figures out who's paying. But when it's between them, I notice when it's a man and a woman, they always slide the check towards the man. So it's just the expectation automatically for the man to pay. Not even thinking regardless, like, maybe she wanted to pay or something. They don't even put it in the center, so who decides to take it can take it. They literally put it on his side. And I looked at him, and me and him both chuckled. I'm like, yo, it's crazy how they're expecting you to be the one paying, even though I'm the one that's paying or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. And I'm happy you brought that up. That's crazy.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, at one point, I was like, I was super independent. I don't want to be independent no more. I want somebody to take care of me.
Well, yeah, I still want that. I want to be taken care of. I want my bills to be paid, my tent to be on full.
Period.
And the house will be well taken care of. The kids will be.
I'm not cooking, though. You have to figure that out. I'll clean. I'll organize the fuck out of your house. You'll never have dirty laundry.
Yep. I'll cook sometimes, but you're gonna get that charcuterie board.
I'm going to fucking spaghetti and Alfredo. What is it?
Shrimp Alfredo you to death. Shrimp Alfredo headed ass. That's what Jessica gonna get.
Turkey and cheese sandwich in a brown paper bag.
The paper bag. Stupid. Okay, let's
pasta the fuck out of you. Okay. The last one that I found that I have a story for. Assertive women are considered bossy. Or a bitch. Bitch is better than bossy, actually. So, there is a $1 billion asset management... No. Are they asset management? Yes. Asset management company that's in one of my buildings that I manage. Being that I work in property management. And this woman owns it. She doesn't have the greatest attitude at all times, but she's in a male-dominated space, and she's constantly reminded of that. So, unfortunately, men don't... Like, if she was, docile and sweet and super, like, what they considered ladylike, they would walk all over her.
Of course.
So, in her head, she has to be the bitch. She has the no-nonsense,
But she's not being a bitch. She's being what a boss is supposed to do.
Yes,
but it's viewed
exactly.
as a bitch because she's a woman.
She's a woman. And I've heard plenty of people that have come into the building to go see her and have meetings with her. Like, she's difficult. I've heard plenty of men who have checked in and was like, she's difficult. And then so they're like prepping to have this meeting with her. And I used to get so angry because she was never nice. She's not a nice person. Like, She would walk in the building and be like super like zoned, like go in. But I can't imagine being constantly reminded that you are not welcomed in this space and I'm going to make it a struggle for you. You've created $1 billion company and yet the respect is there out of fear or out of like money, but not necessarily you truly respect her. Because I guarantee you if they had it their way, she wouldn't be in that position.
Hell no.
And I remember working in property management now, there was a time where I used to have a really hard time with like talking in front of people. So my boss was gradually like, well, my manager at the time was gradually giving me things where I took ownership of that, like of a meeting. And one of the meetings, she was like, oh, Jessica, I think you should take this one. It's like super easy. You know, everybody like, we're going to get you to that point. Because my boss was very adamant on me being comfortable talking in front of people. So my manager at the time, not my boss, because my boss was like being super like careful with it. She's like, you're going to take over this meeting. So now I'm freaking the fuck out. And I was like, how do I get these men, our vendors, to do what I need them to do? And not have them fucking gaslight me. Like, yeah, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. And then every meeting is, we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. So I started to emulate my manager, who was not nice. She was never nice. And during my review at the end of the year, they mentioned that I need to be a little nicer in these meetings. And in my head, I was confused. And I'm like, the three of us are women. And this wasn't my boss. This was my manager at the time who said this to me. I was like, oh, you know, there's some plays that you're like, your delivery needs to be a little better when you're trying to communicate to the vendors that something needs to get done. And I was just like, in my head, I'm like, I'm literally emulating you because I didn't know how to get them to respect me and do what I needed them to do. And I was like, instead of emulating someone who is not nice, let me try my approach and who I am, because I built relationships with these vendors. Mm-hmm. And so I was offended that she said that, because she told me, like, don't let them walk all over you, don't let them gaslight you, because they'll tell you they got it done and it never got done, and blah, blah, blah. So, okay, cool. Let me, like, I need this done, I need a timeline, I need this, I need that, I need that. That's how I was talking. That's how I approached the meeting. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even feel comfortable, honestly. Like, when I was in this meeting, I was like, oh, like, I'm not this person. Like, I'm not this person. But then when I was like, you know what, scratch all that, scratch me trying to emulate my manager, because she was getting results. Like, she was being the person that she was and getting the results that she wanted from them. So then I just started being like super supportive. What do you need to get this done? What can I do for you to get this done? And I got better results from them than she did. It's a work in progress. I think there was a built relationship, but it's not always the case. Men are not going to always be like, oh, no, she's docile and like super sweet. And so I'm going to do whatever she needs to do. Because, again, they'll probably just gaslight me and say, yeah, things are getting done, and they're not getting done. Mm-hmm. But I was once told that I need a better approach because I was being a bitch. So.
I mean, it's a thin line, and plus, too, you get the double whammy of being a black woman, so you always want to avoid
Don't even get me started.
I don't want to be viewed as a mad black woman, and I still to this day, even though I'm dealing in education, y'all have to understand, yes, the students are not the issue. It's the fucking adults that you got to deal with in that workspace that make you think like, yo, am I being respected? So there's a lot of times where we feel like things don't get heard by us only when the white person in the room says it, that it gets validated. So it's almost like that for women. Only when a man says it, it's like, yo, what the fuck? I just said that.
Yeah.
And so when you express yourself, and I said it before, anger is part of a human emotion. Do not label it to me being black or me to be a woman, with me being a woman. No, like, you get mad, everyone's like, oh shit, you know, John's mad, so why can't it be the same way? Peggy's upset, she's mad about something. Why do I gotta be a bitch about it? Yeah, there's some people who could be honestly bitchy. And some of y'all men be acting like bitches too, so cut the shit. Yikes. Cut the shit. Some of y'all be acting more bitchy than women. So I find it quite interesting y'all quick to call women bitches, but I'm like, who's really the bitch in here?
I smell bitch.
Shut up. And it's crazy to me how you explain this story. I'm like, I'm thinking like, yo, like, this is crazy. And you know, like, the older men, like those that are probably in their 40s and 50s who've been conformed to think like, this is no woman's position. Like, honestly, not to be biased, certain businesses and countries are actually running more efficiently with women in charge. Now, not saying like everything's all dandy and sweet with a woman being head and like being in charge, but you know, some of them fuck up too. They ain't perfect, but there are, if you do your research, there are countries that are being run by women and they're doing extremely well, if not better, especially way better than America.
Right.
So this whole
everybody's probably doing better than America.
Girl, America's ghetto. But my thing is, like, I used to get told like, oh, you're intimidating, and I used to look at them like, so I don't care. Like,
your motherfucking point. Get to it.
Intimidation, I guess it keeps the ones that are gonna waste my time and people who are gonna do bubbler talk. I really don't like, you know, conversations that really have no meaning to me. Pointless conversations. I hate those. So I guess like I avoid all that. And I don't want to appear mean because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like in my head, I really think I have a slight smirk. I'm being pleasant. But when people look at me, it's like I got a mean scowl. But I'm not mad. I'm really not mad. Like when I'm mad, you know when I'm mad.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to cry. And I don't be mad. And people be thinking like I'm upset. I'm like, honestly, that is really my resting bitch face, I guess. Like naturally that's my face and I'm not mad at all. I just like, it just sucks as women, especially as women of color, especially black women, like we get hit like double whammy. Not only am I a woman, I'm also black, right? Not only am I a woman, I'm also black. So it's like you're also gonna view me differently. Some men usually are more aggressive towards black women than they are towards like Hispanic women or white women. Like they're more aggressive towards us, and it's like, why are you being mean and more aggressive towards the group of people that actually would fight for you, will stay in the front lines for you? It makes no sense to me. Yeah. And again, this episode wasn't to tear down black men or make y'all feel less than. No, it's to, like, again, like we said earlier, take accountability for your actions. You as a grown adult, as a black man especially, you realize the fucked up shit you've done in the past. There's nothing you can do about it now. Just work on through it, get therapy, like we always advocate here. Work on yourself, do better. And if you're not ready to be in a serious relationship, stay single. As a man, stay single. And if you don't want to be tied down to one woman, let it be known that's what you want to do. Like, you don't want to be tied down to one woman. And you give that woman the option and the freedom to choose if she still want to fuck with you or not. And if she still does, that's on her and she can't get mad at you. Because you told her what it was from the jump.
Exactly.
And stop pushing your ideals on all women. Not all women are for you. So stop thinking that all women, even if all women, I honestly think even if all women were to follow these societal rules, y'all still find something to fucking complain about and say we still not doing it right.
Right.
So if all women were to not have bodies like you guys want us not to have, right? We're all still virgins, right? Still doing what society wants to do. Be docile, be quiet, just have children. Y'all still find some way to fuck that shit up.
Like the house isn't clean enough. You're not doing things quick enough. The kids don't look as clean as I would like them. The kids are behind in school. What are you doing? What else?
The food's cold.
The food's cold. The food don't got no taste. You ain't got no body. You ain't got no experience in the bedroom. Like you're boring.
I ain't got no experience because I'm a virgin. Stupid. Remember, you didn't want me to have bodies.
Yeah.
So. The fuck. There's always find something to worry about. And one more thing before we close out. You know, another double standard, and it dawned on me when my mother was teaching me how to like cook, like you know, prepare me. Oh, you know, you gotta know how to prepare this because you know, so you can feed your husband. Why can't it just be so I know how to cook and feed myself? I get hungry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be hungry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so you saying that. So my mom attempted to teach us how to cook. I was like, I didn't have the attention span or the capacity to do it. So she's like, if there's one thing you're going to have to learn how to do, it's going to have to make these specific meals because they can hold you over and they're like, you know, easy to make. So my sister, who's been with her husband, today is their 7-year anniversary. They've been together for 14 years. And she has a system where her husband really, truly enjoys cooking. Like, that's his shit. And my sister hates cooking. So the trade-off, she does all the cleaning, all the laundry, and then he literally all he does is cook. He meal preps for her, he does everything, right? My mom sees this and she's like scowling at my sister like this, just watching her husband cook. And she looks at my sister, she's like, you're not embarrassed? And my sister's like, why would I be embarrassed? She's like, your husband in the kitchen making all that food and you're sitting here watching TV. And she was like, but that's the agreement we have. Like, God forbid I have to try to prove a point and like find laundry to do because I already did the laundry, or find dirt to dust or dust to clean up because I already did the cleaning. My mom was like, my sister kept saying like, it's a trade-off, and my mom was like, no, a man should never be in the kitchen cooking. Ma'am, you know what, I'm not even gonna go there. But anyways, so my sister has this amazing trade-off. That's why she's been with her husband for so long. It works for them, and I feel like if that's what works for you, if you don't like enjoy cooking and your man does, then why not? Why be miserable in the kitchen when your man can be happy in the kitchen?
Exactly, and you make a dish that you don't even know how to make right now. He mad. Now
I'll tell you,
mad.
I'll Alfredo the fuck out of you, and spaghetti. I'll do American chop suey. What do you want? Sandwich. What do you want?
So it's like you said, do what works for y'all in a relationship or in a marriage. Like, I'm not conforming to no societal rules, not in that sense. Like, look, me and my significant other, we already know how we both are. And we already know what will work for us when it comes time for us to live with each other. Because I'm like, I already know what I like and don't like to do. He knows what he likes and don't like to do. So it will trade off perfectly for us. Like, oh, you like to do perfect. That's perfect. I like that. I enjoy that. So for me, trying to do everything, because at the end of the day, for me as a woman, it's a lose-lose situation. Because at the end of the day, I still lose out on a lot of stuff. Because when it comes time for me to bear a child, I have to stay home. And bearing children, even if you're staying home and not physically going to work, it still takes a lot of time and energy and being an attentive mother, especially if your significant other's at work all day. So at the end of the day, women still take more brunt of the work of childbearing. Half of y'all men don't do none of that unless you decided to be a stay-at-home dad.
Right.
Which I notice some men are doing, and I think that's lovely. But you know what? I don't like physically going to work. I think it's ghetto, so I don't mind staying home.
And that's that. That's
period. But of course, we like to end every episode with Black-owned business, and I was able to find another Black-owned business that's also owned by a Black male. Because we do have a lot of women who own business. I'm all for Black-owned businesses by women. I love it. We're dominating it. But I want to shout out some of our Black men too. This one is a fitness business, which I thought was pretty cool. I did a trial period with him before. It's his IG is at 6Fit Experience. And also he also has a website, www.6fitexperience.com. So the experience is XPERIENC, not EX, so it's missing the E, of course. All that will be in the description boxes on Anchor, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. The description will be in the box. Definitely dope to check it out, especially for you who are trying to be on your fitness journey. He does these fitness plans. I only tested him out like a year or two ago. He does provide like a fitness trial. You come in and test it out to see if it's the right thing for you, and then you pick out a plan that will work for you. So I think it's dope. If you want to follow, go ahead and follow. But again, we thank you guys for checking this out again.
Bye, guys.
Another week, another episode. Peace.
Bye.